What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And we got a nice little roster today. And as y'all can see, I got my football jersey on. So we ain't talking about getting buckets. We talking about slinging that bill, throwing that thing. But we got on here a couple folks. So let's start off with the newcomers, right? We got Nick, my guy Nick. How's everything with you, man?
Man, everything's going good. How about you, Trey? I'm chilling,
Pretty
brother.
good.
Excited to talk football. It's my game, man. I was
Hey,
raised on it.
I hear that. Look, I appreciate you joining on. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, he's a newcomer, so we got to make sure to give him his flowers. The rest of y'all, y'all been on the show a couple times, so y'all ain't nothing new. But I've been wanting to get you boys on the show together because Mark played semi-pro football, and Byron, you know what I'm saying? We already talked about you, so I wanted to make sure we get a nice, good group of fellas to talk about all the NBA divisions today. So Byron, Mark, which I think Mark might have taken a little quick hiatus. So we'll start with Byron. Byron, how's everything with you?
Everything's great, man. Everything's great. Cannot complain. Another day to get it right.
Exactly, exactly. Well, look, fellas. Hold on. I think Mark's back. Let's see what happens. See what
Yeah,
shakes.
man, my bad. Like I said, man, I'm at my mom crib. I ain't in my normal get up.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. But I say, make sure you connect to that Wi-Fi, my boy. Make sure you connect to that Wi-Fi. You can be dropping passes. Like who was it? To a little bit too much. My fault. Is that too much of a sting for Dallas Cowboy fans? I don't know.
The hate is real. The hate is real.
All right. Well, look. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We talking about some football, like I told y'all. Although you see, it is called Get a Bucket, but we talked about the AFC already. We talked about the AFC North and East. Let's talk about the South. We got a couple teams in here, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Texans, the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Titans. Now, as a biased, somewhat fan, I'm gonna give a little money to the Colts because my man Anthony Richardson got to be a stud out here, and I told my Panthers we should have drafted him first. But we got Bryce Young, so we'll see how it shakes. But my real answer is the Jaguars. And hey, look, that brother Trevor Lawrence, like I said last year, he might be something solid. He might be better than Justin Herbert, and maybe I was a season ahead of the
You
projection.
wild,
Of the prediction.
wild, then, bro.
Am I? That's
I
how. I mean,
thought
look. To be fair, we said consistency means you're the better one. So that's the reason why you put Justin over Trevor. I hear you. But from a coming out college, and who's pegged to be the guy, yeah, like Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be that dude. I ain't really hear as much about Justin Herbert as much. And then when I see them on the field, Trevor been doing his thing. Not to mention he did get them boys up out of there in the playoffs. So that's why I say the Jags. I feel like they got a lot riding. I feel like they got a nice little momentum swing. How are y'all feeling about the AFC South, though? Mark, let's start with you.
I'm with you when it comes to the Jags, man. I just see in the preseason game where that first team was they was decimating my boys a little bit. And then they got that backup. That backup QB, he's gonna be something. From what I heard, he played in Canada, and so he's actually he could be a starter on some teams in the NFL. So I got to give it to the Jags already. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence, he continues to grow. He's finally starting to get it. It took him a while to get things clicking, but now he's humming. And so they have that. Then their defense, they drafted that one kid from Georgia. That defense is something too. At least the defensive line. I didn't really see too much special from their linebackers from a defensive perspective, but that defensive line is a whole beast. And so I expect them to get after the QBs. I expect them, especially knowing that you got Bryce Young, that's a young QB in the Texans. The Texans, they haven't seemed to be able to turn it around. The Titans, they seem to be stuck in purgatory. So I don't see them getting it together. So I say it's the Jags to lose, and it should be a easy time for
Okay, okay. Nick, how you? Oh, actually, no, Mark. How much money would you put down on the Jags winning the division if you could? Is it a
them.
friendly bet, or are you looking to pay rent?
Nah, only team I'm willing to bet on is my own. That's my Dallas Cowboys. I put rent on my boys,
I
but
don't know why you
Jags,
do that.
I'll
That
toss
is
a nice 300. Toss a nice 300.
nice 300.
I'm riding with the Jags, bro. They looking like they've turned that corner, and the rest of the division seems pretty weak to me.
Yeah.
Seems pretty weak to me.
Okay. Okay. How are you feeling about that, Nick? Do you agree? Because again, we got Texans, Jags, Colts, and Titans. Derrick Henry might feel a little slighted that you called him weak, but
No, no disrespect to King Henry himself, but one man don't. It ain't like basketball. One man can just take over. It's a system. You're a cog in the wheel here.
yeah. But I mean, Nick, how are you feeling? You in agreement? Is it Jags for you or someone else?
I do think this is a solid sweep, fellas. I mean, purgatory is a funny way to call having Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback. It's another word for it. I think that division is weak outside of the Jaguars. The Jaguars are up and comers. I mean, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne. I mean, Dearness Johnson in the backfield is a backup. No one's even talking about that. Bigsby coming out of Auburn. No one's talking about him either. I mean, they have a squad stacked full of talent. And then Trevor Lawrence isn't coming into his own as a quarterback. You saw that switch flip when someone was like, is he a bust?" He said, "I'm sorry,
Mhm.
and he's playing different. He's been playing different." And the rest of the division is just too weak for me to even feel confident. I mean, you have two rookie quarterbacks, one of whom, I mean, both of whom. I mean, I will say this: there is a running gag between me and my family about Ohio State quarterbacks and how
Yeah,
they do not translate well to the NFL.
yeah,
So I don't know what's going on because I do think that is an example in Ryan Day's program of plugging and playing a quarterback in a system that works, right? So then even though their stats are inflated and they look great, they come to the league and not one of them can handle. You know what I mean? So I think that that was a suspect pick with
mm,
C. Stroud to me. I think that they gave up a lot to pull that little 1-2 punch that I think might backfire. I don't know. Will Anderson is a freak. I'll give them their credit there, but they could have just drafted Will Anderson and then still went on to draft a quarterback later on.
yeah.
Um, Now, for me, I think that same boat. And I'm sorry, but Anthony Richardson played pretty inconsistent in college, and he started 1 year. I mean, they were supposed to start Gardner Minshew. They were supposed to start Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew has been a solid starter in this league. He is not a winner, but he is someone you can plug in and get B-level accuracy, right? He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions and he throws touchdowns, right? So I do think that call, even though it's true that he is, I mean, we're talking about probably an athlete that's better than Cam Newton. You
Yeah,
know,
what are you
just
talking
a pure product, like a pure prototypical quarterback who has might be a once in a generation talent, but he's not ready. So I think that's the Jaguars division by not even close.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. 'Cause I think I talked with Mark about this already. You have the number one pick. You my boys right now. You got you got Bryce or you got that man AR. You got Anthony Richardson.
Mhm.
Who are you going with? You going with Bryce or you going with Anthony Richardson?
Bryce Bryce Young. Yeah,
All right.
that's not even close. That was a gimme. I
Because
mean,
It's
boy,
amazing.
something different. That
because
boy is something different.
the reason why I like Anthony a little bit more, I'll take Bryce. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of want to Anthony. Because, like you said, when he was at Florida, I know he had like 5 interceptions early on, no touchdowns. But then he finished the season strong with like 17 touchdowns and like 9 interceptions. So if
Yep.
I'm looking at that turning point,
I,
that's now 17-4 touchdown to interception ratio. I see adaptability plus with his physical presence. I think you can work with that. But that's why I might lean him. And then Florida, who's really over there? Like,
But I'm just saying that's in regard. You're talking about college football, which is really inconsistent in terms of talent he's playing against. You know, so those teams where he was throwing those 4 touchdowns, still with a 40% completion percentage in a lot of those games. If you go back and watch, I mean, he's a freak athlete, so he can make those throws. He can be, running and just flick his wrist and throw a 60-yard pass. He's a product. He is a. If I'm going to build a quarterback, it's Anthony Richardson. That's true, right? But he needs time. So if I'm going to come into a situation where I'm expecting someone to come in and start immediately, like the Colts, like the Panthers, like the Texans, like a lot of these squads that went out there and got there who they thought would be the pick their franchise, Bryce Young is the most ready to play, and that's not even close.
how about going forward long term? Who would you have between Bryce and Anthony being the better quarterback if you had to put money on it?
Bryce.
I had to put money on it, Bryce Young, because there's always going to be the factor of who's teaching, right? Who's going to
Mm,
know to be a good quarterback, right? There's always going to be that what if of, let's say, Vince Young went to the Patriots instead of the Titans. If there's always going to be that, what happened if Michael Vick went to the Packers instead of the Falcons, right? There's always that what if of quarterback development, and how if you take these talents and put them in a situation and a culture that will work for them. I mean, this new coach, if he had been drafted by Frank Reich, he might have actually turned out to be a great quarterback, but he was drafted by a defensive minded guy now. So that's really kind of worrying to me, right?
Wow, that's
Oh,
tough.
and bro, I gotta just get to it. Like Anthony Richardson is Black Tim Tebow with a little bit more juice. And this is why I'm saying I live in Florida. Like, so I've seen the games. I mean, I think he can be taught. I think he needs more time, but the
He
product that
came to
he is right now, bro, he again, like my man said, he's not ready. If he's inaccurate, he has problems sometimes just navigating the second and third reads. So then you want to take off, but in the NFL, everyone's fast, so you can't just get going like that. And like just the QB vision, that is my biggest concern. When it comes to athletics, he's off the chart. When it comes to potential talent, he's off the charts. But if you can't read the defense, you can't be effective as a quarterback. And I'm talking
That,
like if you can Google this in, just type in Google or YouTube Anthony Richardson weakness. The first thing I'm gonna say, he can't process it. Three blind mice, man. Like I mean,
three
that's all I'm
blind
saying.
mice
That's
is
just not real.
crazy.
yeah, Black Tim Tebow is wild, crazy.
Yeah, that's tough. You basically just called him Cam Tebow, I guess. Like that's tough because he got the athleticism of Cam. Like, so you saying he gonna be Tim Tebow all day?
No,
All
all
right,
right, all right, all right. Okay, then
that's
less
wild. That's
accurate
tough.
Cam Newton. Would that be a better? Would that be better? Because I mean,
Oh,
from
man,
what I've seen, I'm telling you, bro,
that's
just do
Tim
it.
Newton right there. That's Tim Newton right there. That's Tim Newton.
Uh,
Let me tell you, as a fantasy player, I might take AR because even though he's going to come out there and have a 40% completion percentage,
Got to run that thing.
I'm about to say he still might give me 1,300 yards and 9 touchdown runs.
Especially if Jonathan Taylor's not there in the backfield too. He definitely gonna have a lot of opportunity to just run. But I mean, if he's not effective, Gardner has been effective as a backup quarterback, so he can come in and start possibly making some plays. So it'll be interesting to see how that one shakes. But long story short, sounds like the Jags to lose. Who would y'all put as a second team? I guess would it be the Titans?
I mean, it's got to be just because of Mike, still the head coach.
Yeah, I ain't. But nah, fellas, I greatly appreciate this time. This was a good combo. I'm gonna try to keep this roster together because when you realize greatness is here, fellas, you got to keep it together. So I like this one. I like Nick. You were very good today, man. Like, hey,
yeah, you
I'm
got a
so
talent for
happy.
it, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I'm
thank you.
so serious, bro. Like, I'm so happy right now that this man Corey and I would had that little cookout thing, and you swung by. I'm like, oh yes, sir. Easy work, easy work. So yeah, now we
Thank
definitely
you.
want y'all boys back on the show again. But do y'all have anything you want to say before we close up shop? Nick, since you're a newcomer, we'll start it off with you.
Steelers going to the playoffs. I call it. That's it. All right.
All right, I mean,
I'm just saying. You said I have a talent for this stuff. At the end of the season, when they're in the playoffs, you know, buy me a cheeseburger. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, look. I was told if people disagree, you say bet. So I mean, we can do like a nice little $10 spot on the Steelers. If they make it, I can slide you 10. If they miss it, I'm gonna appreciate the 10. Like
Okay.
that's how we do on Get a Bucket. Friendly wagers. But I'm about to say friendly wagers, but we still gotta pay bills though, so we ain't doing nothing egregious. Like Mark, did you want to double or nothing it or are you good?
I'm good with the cheeseburger, bro, and a shot. Give me a cheeseburger and a shot. I'm a simple man, simple passion.
All right, so but if the Steelers get to the playoffs, that means you owe him a cheeseburger and a shot.
That's I'm a,
Yeah, just making
food is
sure.
the way to
And look,
yeah.
I ain't hear no stipulations where the cheeseburger from. So if
That's
they got
fine, bro.
cheeseburger at
That's
Ruth's
fine,
Chris,
bro.
that's all I'm
I'm a
saying. That
delivery dude
cheeseburger might be
since
a
I'm
little
in
hefty.
Florida.
I you
FedEx
have to
the
run me to
cheeseburger, bro.
you have to run me to cookout, bro. I don't know. I think cookout's the move.
All
You
right,
get two of them in a
I got
shake.
you, bro. I'm a chef though in my own right, bro. So I got you.
Nah, he likes cooking. He likes cooking actually. Now,
Okay.
I'm about to say, Mark, when you come up this way too, I'll try to actually get us to do like an in-person recording too. That might be dope too.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but ladies and I'm sorry, Mark. Did you have anything you want to say before we close up shop?
Go Cowboys all day, every day.
Yeah. Two questionable statements to end the show. That's why I'm to finish off strong. But no, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all like, subscribe, please comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Fellas, again, I greatly appreciate you for taking the time out your busy day to help me out. And with that, we will close up shop. Hope you all have a good one. Take care.
Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.